Hi everyone, Rachel here from The Free Change, and today I have my oldest son Jett here as our guest speaker to explore what life is like with essential oils through the eyes of a teenager. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
It's okay, my pleasure.
So I don't know many other teenagers that would be happy to share their experiences, especially regarding things like essential oils and emotions. But we don't have just any other teenager. We have Jett, who is incredible, wise, beyond his years. And I thought it would be a good opportunity because we know a lot of our wholesale members and our essential oils community also have children that they're introducing to essential oils and journeying physical health, but starting to journey emotional health and well-being. And we know that with the way the world is, it's more important now than ever before to acknowledge our emotions. So firstly, we're going to explore, Jett, what you can remember. We've been using oils for 7 years now. So that would have made you, I don't know, 6 or something when you started using them. And you have some vivid memories of what life was like before we started using essential oils as a family. So would you like to share a few of those with everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Loud voice.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, lots of bad experiences with medicine and all that stuff, just making it worse. Off for Leon's ears and all his infections and all his problems.
Yeah.
And
You'd written down a few sort of points.
Yeah, I forgot about
so you don't get off track.
Yeah, I get off track easily like you. But yeah, just with lots of dad's stress from his work and then having to come home and look after Leon and taking him to the doctors at least a couple times every week to get him checked out with his ears and his, what did he have done to his?
Yeah, his adenoids in his ears.
But just having to go and check Leon was okay every couple times every week. Just put a huge load on him, and then I slept in the same room as Leon, so I always heard him cry in the middle of the night. Then I'd hear him run down the hallway to mum and dad's room and cry for the rest of the night.
Yeah. And so how did all that stress and overwhelm of constant sickness affect our family emotionally, do you think? What's the flow-on effect of having a sick child all the time?
Well, very stressful. I'm not a parent, but I'm guessing it's
but you were part of the family
for you.
Yeah, but you're part of the family. So how does it make the family feel, and how did you feel?
Well, I could see it was definitely having a huge effect on you, and especially like Granny and Granddad, because they were there with us as well. In the house, and they could see what was going on. They were looking over it every night. Leon was up. But yeah, I was always having my medicine because I was always sick from school, and it was just a huge load, and lots of anxiety come from it, and lots of stress. Nothing good come from it, I can tell you that.
No, and I think the word we were talking about was very helpless, because you're kind of just in the motion of trying to band-aid everything, but there was no end in sight at that point. Yeah. So enter the world of essential oils, because we know that all the stress and all the lack of sleep and all the anxiety and all of the overwhelm started to take its toll even more on our family, and anxiety, and like you said, Dad's stress from work. Then he got home and he was stressed about being at home and all the sickness and illness. Then it does flow on to people that are helping you, like grandparents and everyone else, trying to help you find your footing in the cycle of sickness. So emotionally, it eventually takes its toll. And that's sort of what we wanted to share in your short life. You've basically lived 2 different worlds. One that was constantly filled with stress and anxiety and illness. And then fast forward to the last 7 years, what does it feel like as a teenager to have essential oils in your life, and how do you see it has improved our lives as a family?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's been 7 years. I completely forgot. Like, I didn't know we'd had it for that long, so it's just become a part of our everyday routine, really. It's just become a part of us. And yeah, the effects it's taken, like, help Dad with his stress, help me with my stress, help you with your stress from work. It gave us this life and this bus and everything we could have ever asked for, really.
Yeah.
And just built this completely new life where we could do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And live healthily without, the after effects from medicine and all the jabs that we were getting for my school. And like, Leon never had to go through much of that because he only spent, a year at school.
But he had a very short 6 months at school, I think. But so in terms of what you've written down about your relationship with essential oils, did you want to take everyone through the points? You can hold on to your page if you feel like you're right. Did you want to take everyone through the eyes of a teenager, just to help other families see that, yes, it's important for mum and dad to begin to take their power back and learn how to use alternative therapies for their physical well-being, which will flow into their emotional well-being, but to help families understand how important it is to display and to show and to lead their children into their own empowerment and into their own wellness routine with essential oils. So if you can give them some insight into what essential oils mean to you, that might help them.
Yeah. Well, essential oils mean everything to me right now. They're, like I said, a part of my everyday life, and every oil that is scattered across the bus, they all have their own meaning. Like I was talking about earlier, like the peppermint reminds me of the early morning skates with Dad, because he always puts it under his tongue so he can be awake and present, actually communicate with me. And then wild orange reminds me of you, because
because I am wild orange. If I was an oil. Yeah.
And the first couple of years we were doing oils, that's all you wore.
It was.
Yeah, so that just reminds me of you. And then the lavender piece and copaiba remind me of sleep. And whenever I go to the skate park, like I said, less stress when I'm trying tricks, and it just really helps me to get in my zone with whatever I'm doing, whether it's schooling, even though much of that doesn't really happen, to be honest. Like, it just
not in the official sense.
No. Yeah. Not much of that really happens. But definitely that gave me a lot of stress and anxiety with having to keep up, even in the homeschooling.
So I always when we were trying to run it like a school, and we were doing it all wrong in the early days, and trying to mimic a classroom, we learned that very quickly wasn't the approach that suited our children. But how did you use oils like copaiba and adaptive to, like, give an example of how you use those oils? What did you do? Did you apply them? Did you use them internally? What do you do when you use copaiba, for instance, for anxiety?
When I use copaiba for sleep, mainly I put it under my tongue.
Yeah.
And for doing schoolwork in the skate park and stuff like that, I always just put it in my hand and cut my nose and mouth and take 3 deep breaths in.
Yeah.
And that's what you do with the peppermint to wake you up, and the lavender piece, and every oil you could think of, really.
Yeah. So copaiba is definitely the oil that I say saved our family in terms of our stress and anxiety, and helping Clint with his mental health and PTSD. So copaiba is something that we have everywhere. If you look in every nook and cranny or every bag, copaiba is with us. And we choose to pop a drop under our tongue, 1 drop, throughout the day. So basically every hour or so, because the oils will naturally secrete from your body. So we do a drop under our tongue. But for sleep, this is very much the general rule of thumb for our 2 older boys and us, that we reach for copaiba and pop a drop under our tongue. So when you're doing that, you not only taste it, but you also smell the oil, and you were talking about the sense of smell being really paramount for you. So wild orange reminds you, when you smell it, of me. So that shows that link between a smell and an emotion is immediately triggered. And that is a really powerful version, and a very simple version of aromatherapy, that kids need to know,
Yeah.
How important is it for kids your age to understand that they can control and create new emotions and responses. You see a lot of kids that are acting out or not coping, and what do you wish they knew?
Well, yeah, I see pretty much every one of my friends my age from back when we used to live in Wollongong, always, like, they're always stressed about their school and their sports that they do. But I just want to, just tell
help them.
Yeah, just tell them
and
how
some
much
of them
easier it is to
actually
live.
some of them actually do use essential oils. I remember I just looked up at an oil here, and your best mate Jakey used to call easier the Rachel oil, because that is what he remembered smelling every time he slept at our house.
Yeah, in the diffuser.
So Jett's friends linked that smell with our home. So another powerful emotional anchor of a scent to an environment or a memory. So it's really, really powerful how it works. So you have explained examples of different oils that you like using for sleep and different situations, like at the skate park. You've always got your own oils in your own bag.
Yeah, in all of my skate bags.
So when we drop you at the skate park and you graze your leg, you've got everything you need in that bag.
And about 3 first aid kits.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, every little pocket in the car, the first aid kit.
Yeah. And what's your favorite essential oil for when you pull a muscle or you hurt yourself at the skate park? Well, it's not really an oil, is it? It comes in a big tube.
Yeah, and yeah, ice blue, obviously.
Ice blue.
But with like rolling my ankle and stuff, there's always frankincense for the swelling, and then the copaiba for your muscle.
Yeah.
But yeah, ice blue definitely.
So you
That's
layer,
my favorite for sure.
Jett knows to layer on top of the ice blue the frankincense, for inflammation, and copaiba to help him with the pain. So he's always got those 3.
Definitely not for open wounds, ice blue.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yes, you learnt that.
Yeah.
Everyone learns the hard way.
Yeah, sadly.
So if you had one piece of advice to offer parents who are at the point where they feel more confident and comfortable with their own essential oils journey, how do you feel like, or what do you feel like is a good way for them to introduce oils and create their children having a relationship with oils? Do you think oils will bring the parent and the child closer?
Yeah, like a good way to bring it into your daily routine, like we are. Just wear it and use it every night, like the copaiba, and put, like I said, use the diffuser and use it for whenever you cut your leg in. Eventually, it's not going to take 7 years like us, but it's just a part of us. I haven't thought about using medicine or anything like that. It's just 6 years. I don't know. When we started to really adapt to it. But now it's just I always reach for the oils. Not intended, but I'll take it. Just it's a good way to make it part of your daily life, and getting the On Guard toothpaste too got me used to the oils, and now I always just reach for an oil whenever I need it. There's always an oil for everything. Anything. Like, there's always something. Pretty much lavender I've always found helps with everything.
It's like the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, exactly. It's got everything. It's stress, it's sleep, it's like cuts and bruises, it's ankle rolls, it's everything.
Yeah, I think most people that use doTERRA would agree that lavender is one of the most versatile.
Yeah, and I remember when I used to go to school, and we just started, would have been maybe a year into when we started oils. You had you gave me about 3 of them, but I kept losing them. They were like the tiny little oils bottles, but they were in like a little pouch,
Yeah.
I used to clip them to my school bag, and
the key ring.
Always, and my mates would always ask to smell them, and
I did the same with Dad at work when he was in the police force. And that just goes to show, like Jett said, it's important to gently just encourage their use as an everyday part of your life. And before you know it, your emotional resilience increases, because you no longer feel scared or worried or afraid of when the next sickness will come, or when the next sleepless night will come. Because even during a night that you might happen to have that's a bit of a rough night, you're creating new awareness around your emotional control and your emotional health and your children. So you'll re-top up the diffuser with lavender peace. You'll dilute and apply copaiba and rub it up and down their spine. You can use in the daytime uplifting oils like your citrus bliss to enhance. I used to diffuse that when Clint was coming home from work. So citrus bliss is a very uplifting smell, a very happy smell. And I used to diffuse that in the main diffuser in the lounge room. So when he got in, his first representation or smell or anchor home was that citrusy, happy smell, to hopefully help him forget and leave behind all the horrible things that he had just experienced throughout the day. Elevation is also another very underrated oil, but that is definitely an oil. It's called the Joyful Blend. So this is a really quick one that you can pop open the cap, pop a drop in your hands, and take a big deep breath. So with the kids, I always say, how old are you? And they'll say, when they were younger, 6 or 7. And I'd say, take 7 deep breaths and have a mindful moment. Do you remember that? You're nodding. So as you know, I'm now 36 or 37, I don't know. So obviously I'll be there for a little bit longer, but as a child, I know that they're, especially in the single digits, it's really important for them to know, and you'll start to see them go and reach for their oil and go and sit down and create a mindful moment for themselves. And that is a really, really powerful transition into them taking their own health and well-being into their own hands. So
it just becomes a part of the everyday routine. It just, because when you start to use them often, you kind of just, you reach for it whenever you need it, like I said.
Yeah,
it's always there.
And you just forget what life was like before them.
Yeah. And once you start to see that they're actually doing something, like when I started to see that the lavender was helping with my cuts and scrapes and I was going to sleep better, get more sleep because of the copaiba, I just started to do it on my own. Because it's like when you start a business and it's starting to make money, you want to do it more. Like you want to keep doing
Listen to you, little entrepreneur.
Well, it's just an example.
It is a great example. But Ned, like our youngest, is 4, and if he's experiencing anything, he says,
magic oils.
Get me my magic oils. Give me my magic oils. So he has never known a life without oils. So that is pretty incredible, and we're very proud of that, because we've been on the road his whole life living in our bus, which is what we're living and sitting in now. So thank you, Jett, for spending time with us this morning.
Okay.
And we hope you all enjoyed oils through the eyes of a teenager. You did awesome. Love ya.
Love ya.
Thanks for watching. Bye.